Hi guys, welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades and I'm here to get you started on Unit 6, AR. Please take a second to gather your materials. Grab your green book, open to page 41. Also grab some colorful crayons, markers, or pencils. Whatever I mark up on the board, you should be marking on your page. Please save space for a key. If you can't fit it here, write it on a sticky note or another sheet of paper. If at any point I'm moving too fast, please pause the video and catch up. All right, so for the last 5 weeks, we focused on short vowels. A, e, I, a. We also talked about Y and how the letter Y sometimes takes on a short I sound, especially in words of Greek descent. So for the next couple weeks, we're going to talk about R-controlled vowels. So remember, even though A says A, when you put it in front of an R, it takes on a whole new sound. Now, way back in 1st or 2nd grade, you probably learned that AR says R in words like car. Then you got a little bit older and you noticed that AR can also say at the end of words like regular or alter. Well, today we're going to look at a third pronunciation. All of your words this week will contain AR, but it will say air, okay, like A-I-R. So as I read the words to you and you repeat them back to me, try to listen for that air sound. All right, here we go. Apparel, aquarium, area, caramel, caravan, charity, clarify, comparison, disparage, disparity, marathon, marinate, mascara, parachute, paradise, parallel, paralyze, popularity, scenario, similarity. Lots of big words this week, but we are not afraid of big words. We know how to break them into chunks called syllables. So let's start with apparel, apparel. We're going to slice it between the double P's and after the R. Aquarium, after the A, after the R, after the I. Area, after the R and after the E. Caramel, after the R and after the A. Caravan, after the R and after the A. Charity, after the R and after the I. Clarify, after the R and after the I. Comparison, after the M, after the R, after the I. Disparage, after the S and after the R. Disparity, after the S, after the R, after the I. Marathon, after the R and after the A. Marinate, after the R, after the I. Mascara, after the S, after the R. Parachute, after the R and after the A. Paradise, after the R and after the A. Parallel, after the R and between the double L's. Paralyze, after the R, after the A. Popularity, pop-u-lar-a-t. That might be our first 5-syllable word. Scenario, after the E, after the R, after the I. Similarity, sim-i-lar-i-t. Another 5-syllable word. Okay, over here, purple line equals syllable break. All right, in all of our words, even the 5-syllable words, there is one syllable we're going to say a little bit louder, a little bit stronger. That is our stressed syllable. Let's take another color, and we're going to put a check mark above our stressed syllable. So in apparel, 2nd syllable, aquarium, 2nd, area, 1st, caramel, 1st, caravan, 1st, charity, 1st, clarify, 1st. By the way, are you noticing that the stressed syllable always has the AR? That's just how I organized this list. Comparison, disparage, disparity, marathon, back to the 1st syllable, marinate, mascara, parachute, paradise, parallel, paralyze, popularity, 3rd syllable, scenario, 2nd syllable, similarity, 3rd syllable. All right, so green check mark equals stressed syllable. All right, so that might be new information for you, but that'll be easy enough to just remember that wherever you have that stressed syllable, you're going to use AR to make the air sound. All right, let's choose another color. We know that any of our words that have stressed syllables will also have unstressed syllables. And the unstressed syllables are going to have, they might have that lazy tongue, that schwa sound that says Schwa is tricky because any of the vowels or vowel combinations can morph into that sound. So let's circle these, knowing that these are going to be the tricky spots that we have to focus attention on. So the A in apparel, both of those will be tricky, the A and the E. Aquarium, area, I would circle the last A there. Caramel, that middle A. Caravan, that middle A. Charity, that I. Clarify, the I. Comparison, the I, and even the O. Disparage, that A can be kind of tricky. Disparity, the I. Marathon, marinate, mascara. Parachute, paradise, parallel, paralyze, popularity. The U I can hear, the I not so much. That E, scenario, I can hear all those. Similarity. So that one's got 2 tricky I's. All right, red circle equals schwa. We're going to want to really direct our attention to those to make sure we're spelling them correctly. All right, now I want to talk about some prefixes. So in the past, we learned that come, C-O-M, can mean with or together. So when we make a comparison, we're kind of putting 2 things together and noticing how they're the same or different. So come means with or together. Dis has 2 meanings. It can mean away or not. We're going to talk about that more in a second. And then the prefix para can mean side by side or near each other. So if you think about parallel lines, they never cross, right? They're always side by side. If you think of a paralegal, that's someone who works beside a lawyer and helps them. A paramedic works alongside doctors, right? They find the injured person and bring them to the hospital. A paraprofessional or a paraeducator is an adult that works alongside the teacher to help them teach. So often when you see that prefix para, it means side by side or near. You're going to see more of that later in this unit. On page 44, you have a whole activity here. It says the prefix para can mean beside or near, and then you're going to have to find words that fit the definition. Okay, now I realize there are other words on our list this week that start with para, but I'm not really highlighting them now because para can mean different things. So for instance, para can also mean to shield from danger. So a parachute protects you so you don't crash to the ground. And a parasol protects you from the sun. So that's a whole different meaning of para. This is the one I want to focus on today, para meaning side by side. So blue box equals prefix. Now, there's also a root that I want you to learn this week. And you see it, the root is par, P-A-R. And you see it in a few of our words this week. So if you golf, you know that each hole has what's considered par. 3 is par, or 4 is par. If it's an easy hole, maybe 2 is par. That's like the average, like what you, not the average, but like what you're expected to get, right? To be considered a good golfer. If you're on par with someone else, that means you're equal to them, right? You're at the same ranking or the same level. So all of our words this week that have par in them are going to have something to do with being equal or on the same level. So we see it right here in the word comparison, right? Well, think about it. When you compare two things, when you put them side by side, you're trying to figure out if they're on par, like what's better, what's worse. You also see it in the word disparage. When you make disparaging remarks or comments, you're insulting someone. So to disparage means to insult or put down, right? Which, if you think about it, when you insult someone, when you disparage them, you're really saying, you're not so great, you're like down here, right? So you're moving their ranking away. They thought they were up here, and now you're trying to knock them down here. And then one more example, a disparity. A disparity is like an unfair inequality. So if kids at this school get brand new computers and delicious school lunches and all the best teachers, and then the kids in this school get no supplies and their building's dirty and their teachers are horrible and their lunches are horrible. Well, there's a huge disparity, right? A not equalness. So for disparity, we could write down a lack of equality. That's one of the jobs of journalists, by the way. Reporters, they go out and they do research and they look for disparities, right? Because if certain people aren't being treated equally, then they write articles about that, right? Because as a society, we try to fix those disparities when we see them. Okay, so orange box equals root. And on this same page, where you're matching words that start with para, you're also going to be matching words that use that par root, okay? Because it says here, the root par comes from a Latin word that means equal. Notice, by the way, in each of these words, the pronunciation changes. It's not a comparison, it's a comparison, okay? But that happens a lot with bigger words. If you are popular, then you have a lot of popularity. Notice lar, popular, changes to air, right? If you are similar to someone else, then you share similarities. So again, ler changes to lair. So we're used to that. We know that words from the same family can change their pronunciation a little bit. All right, so we talked about prefixes. We talked about roots. So before I let you go, let's just make sure we know what all of our vocabulary means. So apparel, that's easy. That's clothing, okay? You go shopping, you might go to a store that specializes in women's apparel or men's apparel or children's apparel. So apparel just means clothing. An aquarium could be like a fish tank, or it could be a whole building full of fish tanks. An area could be a space. It could also, in math, would be length times width would give you the area, so the amount of space that is covered. Caramel is a delicious, sweet, sticky sauce that you might pour on your ice cream sundae. A caravan could be a group of cars all traveling together. So if you're going on vacation with your aunts and uncles and cousins and you're all driving together in like 3 cars, you might form a caravan. So we'll just say a group of people traveling together. Okay, like in a line. Charity. A charity is an organization that does good for other people. So a like an organization like Habitat for Humanity is a group that builds homes for people that can't afford to buy their own homes. That is a charity, and people like to donate money to that charity to help them do their good works. The Red Cross is another charity, right? They help people during natural disasters. If people need a place to stay, they need food, they need blankets, a charity like the Red Cross will help them. To clarify something means to make it clear. So hopefully I just clarified the meaning of charity for you. We talked about comparison. We talked about disparage, right? To put someone down. We talked about a disparity, a lack of equality. A marathon, that's 26.2 miles. It's a really long run, right? People train for months and months and then they compete in a marathon, which is a really long running race. To marinate is to soak something in sauce. So if you're cooking salmon for dinner or you're barbecuing chicken or a steak, you might want to marinate it in a Ziploc bag for a few hours, put some sauce and some spices in there, and then when you're ready to cook it, it'll be nice and juicy. Mascara is that stuff that ladies put on their eyelashes sometimes, so it's a type of makeup. A parachute, that's what protects you if you're jumping from an airplane. That's what's going to slow you down, right? Paradise is a heavenly place. So I've never been to Hawaii, but I've heard that it's just paradise. It's just like heaven. It's so beautiful and warm. Parallel, when I taught math, I used to always tell my students, notice the 2 L's right there, right? That's your hint. 2 parallel lines never cross. Paralyze. If you paralyze somebody, it's like if you're paralyzed with fear, you're frozen, right? If somebody's in a bad car accident and their spinal cord gets damaged, then they might become paralyzed, right? They can't move their arms or their legs or some combination. So to paralyze is to like freeze, but not like ice, but like make something so you can't move it anymore. Popularity means, you know, how much people like something. So The TV networks are always judging the popularity of their shows. If it seems like people don't like the shows, and they take them off the air. Scenario. That's a possible, we'll say a possible sequence of events. So this is something that we think about a lot, right? Anytime we use our imagination. So let's say your parents are out and you accidentally left the faucet running and now it's overflowing and there's water everywhere. You start imagining the scenarios. What's going to happen when mom and dad come home? Should I tell them the truth? Yes. Should I try to clean it up first, right? You try to imagine different scenarios. Well, if I greet them at the door and tell them right away what happened, maybe this will happen. If I, don't tell them and I clean it all up on my own, maybe this will happen. So you're imagining different scenarios. And then the last one, similarities. When you're comparing things, when you're making a comparison, you're thinking about similarities and differences. What's the same? What's different? All right, that's all I have for you today. Good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.